Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is our last video of the semester, sadly. We are in week 14. What happened to my... Yes. We are in week 14. That is the last week of content for the semester, and then we'll be on to our final exam. As always, this week has two videos. One I have already posted, that is a review. And I reposted our midterm review because that covers several units that we did earlier in the semester. The second video covers the 4 units we did after that. So please review that first video that I posted again, and then for this video I'm going to go through the 4 units that we did at the end of the semester, and just draw your attention to the important things that you'll need to know for the final exam. Final exam will be week 16, which is the end of June, beginning of July. Let me double check the date. Oh, probably around June 29th. And it will be like your quizzes. So there will be some multiple choice questions, some true and false questions, and some slightly longer ones where you have to choose a couple of answers. So it'll be a lot like one of your quizzes, but it'll just be longer. And the final, because we didn't have a midterm, the final exam is very, very important this semester, more important than it has ever been. So you want to make sure that you'll do well on it. And that's why I'm going to go through in detail here the last 4 units that we did. Keep in mind, things you really want to remember are important vocabulary that I focused on, and the grammar in all of the units, along with any useful expressions that we covered. Those are the types of things that will appear on the final exam. All right. So let's get to it. The first one we're going to cover in this video is Unit 10, which was communication. And so let me get my marker here, and I'm going to change that to red. So I thought I was going to. Yeah. Okay, so we've got every unit starts with a vocab, right? So you're going to want to make sure you know that in this unit and every unit. Make sure you are comfortable with the vocabulary. Like words like colleagues, you should know that means a coworker. These other words I think you all know, so that shouldn't be too hard. Then we'll move down to grammar, language focus. You're going to want to keep an eye on that in every unit. So talking about future plans, using present continuous, and going to. So you need to know how those are different. I might give you a question that has one of them, and I'll ask you, is this correct? Is this how what we would use in this situation? And you need to know if that's correct or not. So pay close attention to these examples. All right. Then if you haven't done a lot of these, these were all homework throughout the semester, but if you haven't done them, this would be a good chance. This would be a good way to review and get ready for the final exam, to actually go through and do all of the activities. But I assume that most of you have done them since they were assigned. Okay, here's more vocabulary in here, this kind of thing. You should know what this stuff means. Okay. Important words from the reading, things like conference calling. And then your next language focus in this unit is using will plus infinitive for future events and predictions, and will plus infinitive for offers and promises. Okay. Along with time expressions, right, for future. So this will be important. When you review this video, just focus on red, right? Everything that I'm doing here in red is stuff you need to be on top of for the final exam. All right. So again, will plus infinitive for future events. Right, so I think in the future, everyone will have electric cars. Right? That's predicting a future event. To offer a promise. For example, I needed to update my attendance. I said I'll update my attendance by the end of the day. And time expressions, of course, we know all of those. More time expressions here. So practice this if you haven't done that yet. So some of the skills might show up in there as well. For example, making arrangements. I might have like a little dialogue on the test and ask you what word is most appropriate to fill in a blank. So be comfortable with that. And any of this useful language is also fair game for the final exam. So we should know all of these expressions. Okay, don't worry about the case studies. Then we had Unit 11, Cultures, which was really fun. So here's your vocab for this unit. More vocabulary. Things like dress, timekeeping, time off, reporting procedures, types of meetings, names, etc. All of this stuff is important. This stuff is important. Make sure you are comfortable with it, familiar with it. Cultural mistakes. Let's move down to, all right, language focus, should and shouldn't. Make sure you know how to use should and shouldn't to give advice and make suggestions. So for example, you shouldn't send your professor a cacao message at 3 a.m. Right? You should turn in your homework on time. Just a couple of examples. Okay. So these are, again, more practice using should and shouldn't. Go ahead and review those. Do them if you have not done them yet. That will be very helpful for you. Got cultural differences in this reading. I may take some information out of this reading and ask you about it. So if you are really familiar with this article, that'll help you. It'll be easier for you to answer that question. So I would make sure you're comfortable with that as well. Moving on down, we should have another language focus here, could and would. To make a polite request, right? Oh, could I use your mobile phone, please? Could you send me a copy, please? Would you like, right? Offering someone something, making an offer. Would you like some more chocolate cake, for example? Okay. That brings us to our useful language. Again, be familiar with that. And that brings us to Unit 12 jobs. 1 second, please, while I get my notes ready for this unit. All right, jobs. We talked about jobs. And so you should be familiar with the different types of jobs. That was our vocabulary in this unit, and also verbs that talk about skills and abilities, what those mean. So I might ask, for example, a question like, which of the following words is a synonym for train, right? And I might say start, make, manage, teach, and you would have to choose teach in that case. So something like that could show up on the exam. We got more vocab here. And then here's our grammar for this one that we want to focus on, present perfect. Um, when you started in the past and it's still going now, right? I have worked at Kim Chun University for 7 years, and often for life experience, right? I have had 5 jobs in my life, for example. Or have you ever, very common way to ask someone about experience, right? Have you ever tried kimchi? Have you ever been to Ulungdo? Have you ever? So that'll be important. And we'll move through listening here down to the reading. The different parts of a profile, that's more vocab that you should know. Let me try to write vocab here without, okay. And that's all in here, right? So that might come up on the exam. And then we've got another grammar point here. Past simple and present perfect. Right, so a completed action in the past, it's done, simple past. I worked in Mexico City for a year. And present perfect, started in the past, but it's still going. So he has worked in Berlin since 2006, and of course, with that sentence, I know that he still works there. So in my case, I have lived in Daegu since 2006 also, and I still live here. I have taught at Kim Chun University since 2013. I've taught at Kim Chun University for the last 7 years. All right. More time expressions. These are always good to know. Interview skills, again, useful language. Some of these things might appear on the final exam. Okay, can ignore the case study. Any of the working across cultures little units and review units that are in this book, I've gone through those in different videos. Those are all fair game too. All right, so this is review. These are great. If you haven't done these yet, you should do them because they will help you get ready for this final exam, which is very important as you are beginning to understand, I'm sure. Okay, that is the end of our book. So this one, I think I did not talk about this particular working across cultures unit, so I'll just talk about that really quickly. You should actually do this as part of your homework. So you've got some listening here that you can do, and you can read about these people. And then here's a task for you to do. So a Japanese advertising agency wants to increase its number of international clients. 3 months ago, it hired 2 British staff members. However, business is bad, and now the company can only keep 1 person. Read about the 2 people on page 121. and then discuss their strengths and weaknesses and decide who the company should keep. You've got to choose between Martha Saunders and Susie Rose. And I'm going to assign this as your online discussion for this video. The previous video, there will be a quiz for that one on Canvas. In this video, there will be an online discussion where you need to do this task. Okay? So you need to read about these two people and decide as a manager of this company, which person, you can only keep one of them, right? You've already hired them both, but now circumstances have changed. You don't have enough money. So what are you going to do? Who are you going to keep? Who are you going to send away? And be sure to explain in detail why you made that choice. Why is Martha better than Susie? Or why is Susie a much better employee than Martha? Okay, and you're going to just type that into your online discussion. All right, that just about covers everything I wanted to cover in this video. So again, this is unit 14, or week 14 rather. There are two videos. Video 1 was a recast of our mid-semester review video, just to help you remember some of those units we did long time ago. So go through that again. Go through your book again. Remember, in your book, vocabulary, language focus, the grammar, useful expressions from every unit. All of those will be important. All of those may show up on this final exam. So be sure you brush up on those. Normally I do a speaking exam for this class, but because of the circumstances this semester, that is a little bit tough. So it's going to be, like I said, on Canvas, and it'll be a mix of multiple choice, true and false, fill in the blank, maybe analyzing some dialogues and asking you some questions about some dialogues, things like that. I'm going to make it fair so that everyone has an equal chance to do well on it. I want you all to do well. That's my goal, is for you all to do very well on this exam. But to do well, of course, you're going to really need to put in the time and effort to study and review for it. So again, just a quick reminder about what is due this week. For the review video, there's going to be a quiz. That's video 1. And for this video 2, there will be this online discussion where you have to tell me which of these two employees here you want to get rid of. Next week is a makeup week, so there won't be anything due or any lectures that week. An important thing I want you to note, though, is that next week, so there's no lectures, there's nothing due, but I'm going to be updating all of the attendance. I'm going to be going back through all of the grades to make sure that everything is in order. So if you have missed anything and you still want credit for it, everything is still open on Canvas. So if you forgot an online discussion, go back in and do it and send me a message. Let me know it's done. And then I can go back in there and find it and give you some credit for it. Okay, that goes for anything from Unit 1 all the way up until last week. Anything that you have not done, you need to, you are welcome to do it now, and you can still get credit. Some of you have not done any of the quizzes that we've had since basically week 10 or 11. Those quizzes are counting also as attendance. So if you did not do those quizzes, you must go in and do those quizzes because they are your proof of attendance for the last few weeks. If you have any questions, as always, please send me a Kakao message. I'm very easy, very available, and I will get back to you very quickly. I think any of your classmates can will tell you that I'm very responsive. When you send me a message, I try to get you an answer as quickly as possible, so you're not waiting around. So thank you for your hard work this semester. I know it has been very crazy with the coronavirus and having things online. Thank you, though, for being patient and being good students. And it's really been a pleasure teaching you this semester. I hope you've learned something and that classes have been enjoyable for you. So I'll be in touch with you next week to let you know about final details for the final exam. Um, and until then, happy studying, and I'll see you again soon. Bye now.